Hello, my name's P.N. Singer, and I'm interested in ancient ideas about health, mental health, and the relationship of mind and body. Now, the question I want to talk about today is the experience of time in the ancient world. Did people then suffer from time pressure or stress as we do? What might be the differences or similarities in their experiences? And what might we learn from thinking about that? Now, Greek and Roman medical theories are very different from ours, of course, but there are some clear points of contact. According to Galen, our mind or soul, psyche, and its health are dependent on a precise balance of physical elements in the body. And this balance itself is fundamentally affected by things like diet, exercise, relaxation, and the environment. Conversely, emotional states such as anxiety or distress can have a direct negative impact upon that bodily balance. In extreme cases, emotional distress may even have fatal consequences. Galen recounts the terrible experience of losing a vast number of his own books and other possessions in a devastating fire that swept through the centre of Rome. He himself, he tells us, had sufficient mental resilience or detachment to withstand the loss, but others succumbed to grief, wasted away, and died. So, there's a vital relationship between mental and physical health, and your daily regime plays a central role in that. But how does all this relate to problems of time management or time-related stress? Well, for one thing, overwork, worry, and sleeplessness are among those mental factors that may cause physical disease. These, according to ancient medical theory, dry you out and overheat you, leading to potentially dangerous fevers. Then there's the practical question, how do you fit that healthy exercise regime into the day? Now, in an ideal world, Galen tells us, you would have leisure to devote to the body alone, not the life of servitude which involves business activities or working for a boss. Well, of course, that's not the case for most of us. So there can be a tricky balance between having time to take care of your body and your duties to an employer. Galen gives the example of his own employer, who happened to be the Emperor Marcus Aurelius. But here we need to pause for a moment to talk about how the ancients actually measured time. The most accurate way the Romans had of telling the time were sundials which divided the day, that is to say, the total time between sunrise and sunset on each day, into 12 equal hours. People would agree to meet at, say, the 3rd hour, i.e. 3 hours after dawn, or the 11th hour, an hour before sunset. But the trouble is that these hours would vary considerably in length. After all, a 12th of the length of the longest day in the middle of summer is going to be a lot longer than a 12th of the shortest day in midwinter. In fact, these hours, seasonal hours as they're known, get as long as 75 minutes at the summer solstice and as short as 45 minutes at the winter solstice. That's if you happen to be at Rome. Further north, for example, here in Edinburgh, the difference will be still greater. Does that mean that the ancients actually experienced time differently, that an hour in summer somehow felt longer than an hour in winter? Well, perhaps. People probably tended to go to bed later in summer and earlier in winter. Nevertheless, they were also aware of the difference between these official seasonal hours and the real fixed ones, equinoctial hours, as Galen calls them. Let's go back to that question of professional time pressures and the Emperor Marcus Aurelius. What if you have a demanding employer who insists on keeping you at work until the 10th hour, the 11th hour, or for that matter until sunset, throughout the whole year? Well, that'll be fine in winter, but in summer it will start eating seriously into your leisure time. Fortunately, Galen tells us, the Emperor Marcus Aurelius was more sensible. He would go to the training ground at sunset on short days, but at the 9th or at the latest the 10th hour on the longest, thus enabling those who accompanied him to retire and take care of their bodies during the remaining part of the day, and then go to bed at sunset. And that, Galen adds, will still leave you enough sleep, since at that latitude there are still 9 hours, that's actual equinoctial hours, until sunrise, even on the shortest night. So, in spite of differences in medical theories and methods of time measurement, I think we can recognise some fundamental human preoccupations and even health recommendations. Excessive distress, overwork and worry can all have serious consequences for your health. Professional commitments should leave time for at least a couple of hours of exercise and relaxation each day. And of course, you should always get your full 9 hours sleep.